Good afternoon. Time to put your thinking caps on. Give me a little bit of your time. Gina Persons Malika, District 78 Republican, introduced House Bill 1205. We started our legislative session 2025. It's happening in Tallahassee. I'll be there on Wednesday. Check out the calendar. It's important. But House Bill 1205 introduces several changes to the process of initiating constitutional amendments in Florida, which could have significant implications for citizens. Now, I've been pushing legislative authority, a form of direct democracy, so that we can have more controls for citizens, while this specific bill is pushing to reduce control from citizens. First and foremost, is it in your best interest to lose control? That's the first question you need to ask yourselves. Secondly, you need to start looking at these bills, get on florida.gov and take it serious, because this is a bill that is structured to reduce the means for you to say you have a problem. It doesn't wipe it away, and that'll be the argument, but it will reduce it. One of the things is the single amendment sponsorship. Sponsors of an initiative amendment are limited to sponsoring only one amendment per election cycle. This could reduce the number of amendments proposed, potentially limiting citizens' ability to bring diverse issues to the ballot. Do you understand? They've just put in a limit. We are seeing too much. You're in the office because you're in the office to represent a lot of people. Of course, you're going to get a lot of data. Of course you are. That's why we hire you, because you said you could handle it. And now when you get there, you want to limit this? Come on, District 78, tell us what's going on. Go ask Gina Persons what's going on. Here it is. There is a 1 million bond. Sponsors must post a 1 million bond or provide a cashier's check, official bank check, or money order in the same amount. This high financial barrier could deter grassroots organizations or smaller groups from sponsoring amendments favoring well-funded entities. This means if you don't have the money, you can't bring up the issue. Do you not understand how important that is? If you don't have the money, your issue, you can't afford to have an issue. Direct democracy is that important to me. That's what I'm fighting for. That's what I get on this app for. That's why I drive my car to go meet these people. That's why I shake these hands. That's why when I look at people and I say, hey, how come you haven't taken that a petition in when they're working? This person is working to limit ways for you to have a problem because you can't afford it. Then when if it gets implemented. Now that's an important thing. This bill is 30 pages. You think these people are sitting around pushing bills that they know won't get passed? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is a chance. So follow this bill. Get you a florida.gov account and follow bills that affect you and see how your representatives are voting on these bills. It's that important. Here we go. Petition circulation requirements, training and registration. Petition circulation must complete training and register with the Secretary of the State. This could improve the integrity of the petition processed but may also add bureaucratic hurdles for volunteers. Okay, simply meaning if you get the petition and you haven't had the training, they just can't ask citizens to say, hey, can you take these to your community and go do X, Y, and Z? Now, why? I don't know. I mean, because you have to validate this. There has to be a validation. Every petition that I ask you to send to your supervisors of election costs 10 cents, and then they're going to validate that you are a registered voter. But we have rules in place. And if this rule passes, if you are not trained in circulating petitions, whatever training that is, and saying, hey, would you mind signing this petition? I don't know how much training goes into that. I honestly don't. I really don't think it's much, but apparently something must go into it. I cannot lose your attention because it's a lot of data. And I don't want to lose your attention. Fines and penalties. Fines for late submissions. Sponsors face fines for late submissions of petition forms ranging from $50 per day to $200 to $2,500 per form, and up to $5,000 for forms submitted after the deadline. These fines could be a financially burdensome for sponsors. Okay. If you miss a deadline or things get lost or something to that nature, if you don't have the funds to say that, hey, we had 10,000 that didn't make it, but oh, well, you missed the deadline. But they were already here. It was not our fault. It was a mishap. Well, that'll be $2,500 or $5,000 per form. We can't afford that. Well, those forms can't be counted. Now, the excuse is going to be that the labor people, the people who have to do the labor to look at the forms, they're going to say that's too much labor for them. Put them in a scanner. Slide them in the machine. We got technology today. You cannot tell me that I can make a copier copy out 500 pages in less than 2 minutes, and you telling me I can't slide a sheet of paper in here, scan 5,000 documents into a system and have that system read that? We're way past that. This is how we lose rights as citizens. Bills like House Bill 1205. It advocates for integrity while removing the rights of the people. But the rights are still there. That's the nuance. You still have the right. It's just you can't afford it. Well, you can't afford it, but people can. Maybe y'all all come together. Gotta ask you for money. You get tired of people asking you for money. Heck, I'm asking you for a dime. A dime of your own money. And to take it to your supervisor of elections office and take it serious. One dime. One dime to be in control. So that the thought process of taking rights from citizens goes away constitutionally. We can remove the thought process because it'll go away constitutionally. This is in direct opposition of me pushing for direct democracy. Direct opposition. They just put a dollar figure on it and said, no, you still have a means of accomplishing it. You just got to pay us $1 million and only have one issue from your organization. Come on. I'm stressing www.legislativeauthority2026.com. Let's get citizens power. I'm stressing it. I'm pushing it because the bills are coming. You got one now. You know what one is for sure. Put it in anything. Read it. Put a dictionary next to it. If you're not a millionaire, if you don't have $1 million right now, if you don't have it, this bill passes, you can't bring up the issue. You gotta find 1 million people. I'm here to tell you, even if I had 1 million followers on this app, even if I did, statistically by the numbers, less than half, statistically by the numbers would consistently give me support at a consistent level. And I need consistency right now. I need you to seriously consider legislative authority as an option to give citizens more power. We're gonna need to write this stuff back if it passes, but we have to do something that breaks the ideal, the thought process of thinking that things like this are okay. Why would this person even consider this? And she had to have help putting it together, so she has backing. She has backing. Guys, it's dwindling down. And let me be clear. Let's have a candid convo towards the end of this. When you are completely suppressed and oppressed, you're gonna fight back. We want to do something where we're never in a position to be completely suppressed and oppressed. We have to do something so that we are not completely suppressed and oppressed, because it will lead to a revolution. And the only revolution we're going to have is one that will be violent. I don't know why people don't believe that. Please go look at history. It's because people have been suppressed and oppressed, and they start fighting because it's gotten that bad for them. It hasn't gotten that bad for everybody. If you're not a millionaire, and that's our big conversation right now, is the have and have-nots. And the haves are grossing over $4 million a year. If you don't have the type of money, then your thought process would never say that the only way we should be able to bring up issues is to put a dollar figure on that. That's a fundamental problem. It's a fundamental problem, and we have a fundamental solution. Direct democracy for citizens is the fundamental solution. I will be in Tallahassee on Wednesday. I encourage you, go to the calendars, look them up. Today's Monday at 1:30. They'll be talking about banking and insurance, commerce and tourism, ethics and elections. Tuesday, we got health and human services, pre-K through 12 education, transportation. So the calendar's out there. I'm just going to go there, meet people, and push direct democracy because it's important. And as you can see, there are legislations. So yeah, they're going to be headlines. Headlines. But what gives headlines authority? Legislation. Legislation gives headlines authority. Legislations, statutes, laws. Put it in control of citizens. Give citizens more access to legislation that creates these statutes, that creates these laws. Give citizens the access. Give citizens better access so we're not just on the receiving end. Goodness gracious. I hope y'all made it this far. I cannot make these things very short all the time. I just cannot. And you may look and say, hey, you haven't made any of them short. I try not to. There's too much data out here. And I try to give you as much as I can. I could read you all of the bills, but I will read you a synopsis that I wrote of the final bill. Overall, House Bill 1205 introduces measures that could improve the integrity of the petition process, but also imposes significant financial and administrative burdens that may limit citizen participation and increase costs for both sponsors and taxpayers. Citizens, we cannot keep limiting ourselves. We need to maximize what citizens can do, not limit. And every time we look at a bill, it's always a limitation to citizens, and somebody says, we're okay with it because you voted for me, because you said I was your representative, and this is what you expected. You expected for bills to get passed that make it harder for you to bring up issues. And now they put a dollar figure to your issue, $1 million to tell us what's wrong. $1 million issue. That's going to be the title. $1 million issue. You guys have a great day.